Here we go.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker, what do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Let me tell you something. I think we're about as excited for a Friday to get here as we've been excited for a Friday getting here in a long time, because we are now not too far away from the start of the college football playoff, the first ever 12-teamer, and the standalone in this 12-teamer tonight is going to be IU and Notre Dame. And full discussion coming up, including Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers, live from South Bend. He's going to join us coming up a little bit later on. I really don't know where to start here, because it is a tale of two programs, even though here these two programs are meeting in the middle, not since September the 7th, 1991, which is incredibly ironic given the fact that my good friend Alex, the Brick Shirt House here from the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel, brought this gym. If you're watching via the AAA Membership Lounge YouTube Live, I'm thinking you can see that, right, Carl? Can they see that from here, you think? Oh, yeah, they got it. There's the front. And there, oh, yeah, there's the back right here. All right. You're going to say, all right, so you're showing us a front and a back shirt talking about September the 7th, 1991. Why don't you let us in on this whole inside story? Here it is, because this concert T-shirt right here was from 1991. Remember, Public Enemy on tour played at the then Market Square Arena with Naughty by Nature, with Queen Latifah, and with Ice-T, and I was front and center as they were on their Can't Trust It tour, and I got this T-shirt, and I think I wore it everywhere I went. Seriously, I go to Indiana State. There's no way. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming out. There's no way in the world that nobody on the campus of Indiana State University in the early 90s ever saw me at some point without me wearing or rocking this T-shirt. So I could not find where it had gone. Alex has recreated this, that it is absolutely the same, just probably made incredibly better now from 1991. This Public Enemy front and back concert T-shirt. Thank you very much, Alex. This is awesome right here. So, yeah, we go back to 1991 for that. And by the way, too, if you follow me, I've got a picture of me drinking spilled beer off the floor at Indiana State University, and I'm rocking this shirt, and I'm rocking hiking boots, and I forget, they weren't Zubaz pants, but they were stinking close to it. I don't know, they're elastic pants. I was wearing elastic pants, drinking beer that I spilled off the floor on South 5th Street in Terre Haute, Indiana at Indiana State. That's what I was doing back in 1991. And we were also watching IU and Notre Dame for the first time in a long time, and really the last time since. Now, that game, it was all Notre Dame. That game, it was nice and warm and sunny, a September afternoon in South Bend. Tonight is going to be different. Tonight, there's so much on the line. The first game of this first ever 12-teamer in college football, the playoff. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, you've got two teams that are meeting in the middle here. You've got the incredible history of Notre Dame. And let me go ahead and get this out front. And, you know, I know I've been making fun of Notre Dame for being the University of Southern Michigan, and we all laugh about that too. I've just never really been a big fan, all right? It's like I don't hate them, but I've never really been a big fan. So, truth be told, I would love to see IU beat them by 50 tonight, to be honest. It would be great if IU were to beat them by 50. And people are going to get pissed and go, well, what about Notre Dame? You never talk about Notre Dame. I will, and I did, and I have, but it's really never occurred to me that much. And now I guess it kind of does. We had the play-by-play guy on yesterday, right? We had Maya McGrath on from ESPN. It certainly does matter. But I think Notre Dame's doing just fine with the amount of hype that they get and the headlines that they get for being Notre Dame and football and having Rudy and get one for the Gipper and all that stuff from the past, right? But IU, for them, this is newfound territory. They have been a doormat of not just the Big Ten, but the doormat of college football for decades. And this is the first year for Curt Cignetti. This has been an incredible breakthrough season for this program and Curt Cignetti. It's also helping people forget, at least for the time being, regarding IU basketball and what the hell's going on with that mess most of the time. So you've forgotten about that. You've fallen in love all over again. Just like, really, you go back to 1991 and people were in love with IU football. That was the last time they went to a bowl and won it, if you remember, the Copper Bowl back then. And that's coming off a late 80s run with Bill Mallory and Anthony Thompson and Dave Snell starting right there. And Trent Green was the quarterback in 91. Thomas Lewis was a wide receiver. Von Dunbar was a running back. Damon Watts from Lawrence North was in the secondary defensively. That was a really good squad. So Notre Dame has always been the football program that they talk about stirring the echoes. But for IU, it's like you, for the first time in forever, you have now awakened some echoes of a short-lived time that IU fans remember vividly, which we'll talk about coming up here in just a little bit. I'm going to share all that with you. We'll break down the game and make sure you're set for that coming up later on this evening. 8 o'clock, you can hear it. 7 o'clock, your coverage begins right here on The Fan later on tonight. Hey, the Pacers, before I get to the Gorman, the Pacers last night, that was a four-quarter experience that was very much like the experience of a year ago. That was the first time we have seen that from start to finish, like it was a year ago, like we remember it a year ago. And really, for the first time from start to finish, we've seen it this season. We'll get into that coming up a little bit later on. Coach's Tavern downtown. Tommy S. is going to join me a little bit later on as well. Bud Light Blue Friday, Titans Colts tickets to give away. I've got Bullseye Event Center passes to give away as well. We've got a lot to give away, but you got to hustle ass down here and join us. We would love to see you. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he'll be a part of it coming up on Sunday in Touchdown Town with me beginning at 10 a.m. after I start things off at 9 a.m. on the ride to kickoff right here on The Fan. The Gorman and others, including Bill Brooks and Joe Wrights, will join me in Touchdown Town, and Casey Valier as well. The Gorman's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, Gorman, I know you're from the crap state of Michigan.
Yes,
I know
sir.
that. Does this IU Southern Michigan University of game tonight, does that do anything for you?
I'm all in. And I'm just going to say
All
this.
right,
I don't
explain
get it.
yourself, please.
Well, I get IU and Purdue. I get the civil war there. But you got a football powerhouse for years like Notre Dame, and they're just kind of like the cousin you never talk to. You see him once every 3 years, and he drives in with his, convertible, and they're one of those guys. So I like this because you got a bunch of lunch pailers down in Bloomington that are going to knock the Golden Domers off tonight. And change the temperature of football in this state. So, yeah, I'm all in. Here's a couple of things I need to know, though, as a fan. I'm hearing about this Bison, and Matt Taylor tells me you had a Bison Express that ran through a few states, so maybe we'll take the Bison as our – I mean, if you're going to do this Bison thing, Cignetti needs to run out on the field on the back of one of them sumbitches tonight, right into the stadium if you're going to be this Bison team and bring that thing back, John. I'll tell you what, that'll make some waves.
Bring the Bison back is what the Gorman is saying right there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So, yeah, I'm glad. I know you're from, again, the crapwater state of Michigan, but I'm glad you're grasping on what is going to be. And here's hoping. Like everybody has suggested, well, if IU's just there and they're glad to be there. And while I'm sure everybody's glad to be there, you don't want to get your ass handed to you on a platter. No. That's not what their first-year head coach everybody loves certainly would want to talk about. So, yes, you want to see them go up there and you want to see them get after it like we've seen them get after it this season. So,
absolutely.
It is a lot on the line tonight, buddy.
Yeah, but why is SMU a 3? Why are they a 3 right now? I'd roll out Cignetti's boys against SMU any day of the week, and I'm saying this is now a 10 seed on that. But I like them. I like the thing tonight. I'm fired up for this thing. It's going to be great. John, before I forget, you're talking about tickets coming down to see you down at Coach's. I am giving away today to however you want to do it. I have my personal season tickets. I've got 2 chairs. They are end zone seats, lower bowl. They're a great seat. I'm giving them away to however you want to do it today. All I'll need is an email from your listener.
All right, James, did you get all that information? All we need is a name and an email in this case from a listener, and we'll do that. Gorman, remind me at the very end of this conversation, and we'll float that out there and give somebody some tickets. How about that?
Absolutely. And you know what's going to be a good run? We're all in the same boat, John. You heard it this morning from Kevin, this afternoon from Jake, and obviously for you 3 hours. It's a long shot. It's 15%, but crazier things have happened in the NFL, and the boys just got to take care of business and actually look like a football team at home for one of the few times this year and take care of a beaten-up Tennessee Titan team that all of a sudden is pissed off that people are calling them soft. So it's going to be a war. I mean, it's going to be one of those, division slugfest, but if the Colts are going to absolutely put their, a flag anywhere of who these guys are this year, maybe it could be a winning football team by rattling off 3 in a row. It's going to be a long shot to get in the playoffs. As you know, we need a lot of help from the Chargers opponents and also Baltimore Ravens opponents. So right now it's just about going to win one at a time. You're going to be without E.J. Speed. You're going to be without Alec Pierce this weekend against the Titans. So, those are 2 starters that are quality guys. So, hey, this is going to be a tough one, man. It's crazy leagues. Crazier things have happened, John, but let's see if they can change Steichen, Chris Ballard, and the boys can say, hey, we're a pretty good football team, took care of the last 2 out of 3 at home with division opponents in Jacksonville and the Titans.
You think they can look in the mirror and say, you know what, we jacked around last week and screwed that thing up. We can't be jacking around in these final 3 and leave that as a lasting 2024 memory. Is that fair enough?
That's more than fair. You can't do that. I mean, there's, absolutely. That's a bad taste. That taste is still in the mouth. I was in that stinking locker room today. That bad taste is still in their mouth today. So I hope that is fuel. I hope it is, something as far as being a team that's on the outside looking in, but rattle off, 3 straight wins to close the season. Let's find something good out of this thing. But, hopefully it starts out. Don't forget we got a winter whiteout going on at the stadium. So if you are coming down there or you want some tickets, make sure you throw on a white T-shirt or something to join in the festivities.
Winter whiteout is going on Sunday. I have not heard of this. Whose idea was this? The same person that came up with yes sirs?
Boy, I don't know. That's a good one. I'll get back with you on that one, on that winter whiteout. Hey, speaking of which, I got to say, you've been on this very public journey of weight loss and everything like this. You remind me of. You had a picture the other day before you were doing you were on location somewhere. You had that kind of white turtleneck on with a sweatshirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who did I remind you of?
Andrew Ridgely, half of the member of Wham outside of George Michael.
Yeah, I was the one that everybody forgot about because George Michael left. Oh, that's like the Brian Dunkelman of American Idol right there. That's me.
Hey, it's still John. He's still in Wham. I mean, you know what? Say what you will, but the guy's still in Wham. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can you imagine, man? He didn't cash in on any. I mean, they got some stories from Bad Boy to Wake Me Up Before You Go. But once George Michael left, there was nothing left but scraps for Andrew Ridgely back then, was there?
Bro, I don't know how he didn't launch that solo career, and if he did, it should be a Netflix special. But I tell you what, watching George Michael just take over everything, and Andrew Ridgely's playing down the pub down in East London somewhere. I don't know. But, you had a good look about you, John. Keep up the good work.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Andrew Ridgely's making some pocket change right now with that Last Christmas tune from Wham, though. I mean, every time B105.7 plays it because they play Christmas music, they probably play it every 5 minutes. So they're probably cashing some checks right now.
A couple of flipjacks like me and you should sit down this offseason and just write a Christmas song and cash in like Mariah and Wham. I mean, all you got to do is throw Christmas and love and lights and snow in there, and you got yourself a song.
Joy to the world, our football team stinks. Like that?
Hey, no, something like that. I don't know if I exactly
That's what I sang last week. I sang that last week. That was my carol last week.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I was. Hey, Gorman, full disclosure, buddy. I was really bummed by that. I was bummed. That second half was about as disappointing as so often we have seen that around here on Sunday, going back a handful of years now. That was a level of disappointment that you just could not get past because of what transpired in the second half.
The gut in my, the pit in my stomach still sits, John. If you go through the sequence of events from the drop ball at the goal line to the fumble by Pittman on a good hit, and the turnover there, like that little 5-minute period in there, I can't get rid of that taste. I mean, that was like you're watching the hopes go from, your 20-something% chance of playoff to go up to 60 with a win, and you watch those two bang-bang plays in a short period of time, and I'm still thinking about that. I mean, that was one of the heartbreakers of the year to watch that because, building a double-digit lead like they did and watching that thing blow away, man, that's a tough one. So, I don't know.
Gorman, I was reminiscent of this. You were a huge B-movie star in Hollywood back in the mid to late 90s. It reminds me of a better film and a Paul Thomas Anderson classic, Boogie Nights. Remember when, toward the end, everything went bad? Everything started going bad for Dirk Diggler and everybody around Dirk Diggler and Buck and Amber Waves. Everything started going downhill. That's what the second half reminded me of the other night in Denver.
Well, geez. Okay, well, boy, there was some just trying to compare the events, and, we got drop passes on one side to overdoses on the other. No, I'm with you. It's been a tough one, man. You can see it on these guys' faces in the locker room. It is, but John, I'm out here trying to make some chicken salad out of chicken caca right now because
I know you are, buddy. I admire you.
3 games left, and going to give this thing a run and find out, what sort of moves are happening in the off season. That's with a playoff, berth or not. So I mean, it's all those things. And again, disappointing on that Denver one when you had that game such a lockup like that. But anyway, we're gonna turn the page and hopefully it starts. But no, I'm excited about this game tonight because it's a great football weekend, John. There we go. We're finding some chicken salad.
Yep, it's the Gorman right there doing his best turn-to-page impression of Bob Seger on the Silver Bullet Band on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right now.
He's from the Motor City, pal. That's a Detroit guy. So before you start ripping the state, they gave you Rockin' Bob Seger.
What an awful state, though. How do you manage being from there?
I don't know. Why don't you join me this summer? We'll go up to my brother's place in Traverse City, and you'll tell me how gross it is.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So what? I go up there in July. What is it going to be? 45 degrees. Hallelujah. Great.
No, you're about 88 and sunny, and the boat's running.
No, it's not. I haven't been 88 degrees in Traverse City right now. What is it in Traverse City right now? About 50 below.
Yeah, there's snow everywhere and 50 below. But I'm talking about June, July. We'll get you in the 80s up there, John. Torch Lake, you can see to the bottom. I mean, the freshwater spring lake, it's God's country up there. I know you're around the Detroit area, which is sort of an armpit. I agree with you there, but they're bouncing back. But if you get out a little bit, John, if you take your old AMC Pacer and filled up the gas tank and go up north, you're going to see it's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty land. Wonderland.
I knew you'd probably try to talk me out of that. Hey, me and you and the fellas kick things off together at 10 a.m. coming up on Sunday morning, correct?
You forgot about one very important name that's going to join us on that day. That would be the Hall of Famer Edger and James will be at Touchdown Town. He'll be signing autographs and saying hi to fans. Plus, we're going to hear from him, kind of get his thoughts on this year of an up-and-down Colts year. But he's all in as well, but he'll be out there on Sunday, so it's going to be a fun run.
Let me ask you this. What do you think fans would rank Edger and James all time? And Indianapolis Colts, I don't want to hear anything about Baltimore Colts crap here, but Indianapolis Colts history, he would be top 3, wouldn't he? All time here? Fan favorite?
Easy top 3. Oh, fan favorite or produce it? I mean, like both. Yeah, I think he's
both, but we'll start with fan favorite. He's top 3 fan favorite easily, right?
Well, who you got? You got Manning, you got Reggie in there, you got Marvin in there, you got Dwight in there, you got those guys. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely top 3, but depends on who you ask. Your next caller could probably switch that around and, say Manning 1 and Stokely 2. Who knows? I mean, but yeah, he's definitely up there in the top 3. And I just love it because he's he's doing it the right way after retirement. He's keeping busy. He's making some money here, but he travels every stinking week. And, he's living life. So always a good interview with Edgar and James.
Speaking of which, the Colts, old school wise, in the days of winning, now Night of Champions at the Mural coming up in February. Were you privy to that being put together? I gave tickets away to that last week too. Everybody's excited about it, Gorman.
John, I mean, we've talked about this through the years. With the abuse that I've taken at training camps through the years from a certain quarterback, I mean, how those stories couldn't be a part of a Night of Champions, which I know highlights the 2006-2007 Colts, but the shenanigans were running roughshod there as well. But no, that's going to be a great night, and I know tickets are tough to come by, so that will be a heck of a one. I'm still without a ticket for that thing, John. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to keep listening and see if I can get a couple on the rail from being ninth caller or something in a month or two.
Oh, man. Gorman right there with us. Yeah, we're going to give some more of those away. We can get you in if you don't have a reasonable connection within the organization to help you get in.
I should be all right, but I'm just, a little backup there. A little backup. Hey, I had a public service announcement I want to end with here.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. John, you are taking care of yourself. You're a 50-plus-year-old guy. There's a lot of us around there in Indiana and otherwise. You're taking care of yourself. You're getting your heart checked. You're losing weight. You're exercising. You're changing stuff up, and that's what men and women have to do. I had to go in for a regular routine checkup about 3 weeks ago, and it was to the dermatologist. And I started going a couple of years ago just to look over the whole body and stuff that comes up. You know what I mean? Just for precaution. Yeah. I had a little thing on my shoulder, and he looked at it last year, Dr. Chris did, and he goes, hey, don't worry about it. We'll take a look at it next year. If it's still there, it's okay. So it kind of grew a little bit, John. Comes back. I get diagnosed with skin cancer about 3 weeks ago on the top of my shoulder and my neck area. And here's the thing, and it's a Jay Query feel-good story, is you got to get that stuff checked. You have to go through the steps to go to the doctor, and whether it's your gastrointestinal, whether it's, I don't care if it's a shoulder, whatever it is, just to go get checked up. And if everything's fine, go in for a routine checkup. I did that, and he caught it, and he said, hey, don't even worry about this. We caught it at such an early detection time that I'm going to go in there on January 14th. They're going to do a little operation that's going to take about 45 minutes and dig some of the stuff out. And he said it's gone, and that's it. We never have to go back over it again. But my point for saying that is, John, you did that. You pulled yourself up by the bootstraps. You got yourself right with your heart and your weight and your health. And I'm just saying that to any listener out there, man or woman. Yeah. Don't neglect that, because if I neglected that thing could have went on for a couple of years, and they go, why didn't you come in a couple of years ago when we could have taken care of this? So just wanted to end on that little high note that, hey, sometimes you don't want to drag yourself to the doctor's office, but my gosh, it saves you a lot of time and a lot of pain in the ass later on down the road.
My brother, we love you, and we're glad everything is okay, and we're glad you identified that and did something about it. The Gorman right there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How about this, James? Get us the email address of the name of number 9 at 239-1070 as we close with the Gorman. Got a pair of end zone tickets, lower bowl on Sunday that the Gorman is going to give away to number 9 at 239-1070. My brother, I'm glad everything is okay, and we'll be holed up John. In touchdown town, so hopefully nobody gets mad about the Joy to the World song right there, okay? It was just the first thing that kind of popped into my head, so yeah.
Everybody have fun tonight. The state's going to shut down for about 3 hours at about 8 o'clock, so good luck to everybody and who they're rooting on. John, we're going to have a fantastic time on Sunday, welcoming Edgar and James and all the Colts fans in 30-degree weather in touchdown town. And most importantly, John, wear that turtleneck and wake me up before you go, brother.
Hanging on like a yo-yo. Thank you, Gorman, right there. The Gorman on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We're glad he is okay. Again, number 9 is going to go and utilize his end zone tickets coming up on Sunday. James, you can tell me on the other side. Bob Lovel still to come. Tony East is going to be here. How about that Pacer effort last night? That's what I'm talking about. We'll get into that with Tony, voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher from South Bend. Hopefully, he's going to be in the press box from South Bend. And our picks for tonight, IU and Notre Dame on the way. We got you covered. Bud Light Blue Friday. We're at Coach's Tavern. Tommy S. will join us. I know Alex is going to join us a little bit later on, and a whole lot more for you. We are downtown. Would love to see you. The Bud Light is flowing on this incredible Friday, and your chance to win tickets for Sunday here at Coach's Tavern as well. The AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Smokey, this is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Tony East, Don Fisher. Gorman a little bit earlier. Shout out to the Gorman, who was fantastic. Uh-oh. He told us maybe it's time to turn the page. Bob Seger. How many times, James, have you seen Bob Seger? Right around 0?
That would be correct, 0.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I've seen him twice. Gina Galeros is here. Hey. She is the Princess of Ice Cream. Hey. How many times have you seen Princess?
Bob Seger?
Yes.
None, but I would.
None.
Oh, he's great.
I bet our next guest, hang tight, Gina, has seen Bob Seger before. On the Indy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Express Pro Tire and Auto brings him the 13 Central Indiana locations run by Joe Childers. Bob Lovel joins us. Bob, how many times in your existence have you seen Bob Seger?
3.
There you go, buddy. See, I knew it. You're
and
more
I
than me.
Wish it was more. Wish it was more.
Yeah, he's done touring now, so I'm glad we all had the opportunity to see him.
Yeah.
Everyone except for me.
Except you and James back there.
Oh,
well, you did not look at that.
I bet he was great in concert. Was he great?
It was good. I think I was 15.
Tremendous concert.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
I saw him first in 1985, Bob, and it was the Fabulous Thunderbirds that opened up for him.
Yeah.
With the song Tough Enough. Oh, man.
Look at this little nothing bun cake.
That's
for your birthday?
The awesome Michelle down there brought nothing but cakes.
Let's see these bad boys.
Get into that and just hold tight on that. Is it looking good? Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that cottage cheese on top of that?
Nope, no cottage cheese here.
Bob, I'm trying to occupy my diet here with you as well. Hey, you obviously you followed this IU program for a long time, and you were tight with Tom Allen, and now we're talking about your number one of Kurt Signetti. What does this transformation into the top 12 and the playoff, and what's tonight mean to somebody that's covered them as obviously as long as you have? You've seen every level of futility, low level we have seen with this football program over the years. What's a night like tonight mean to you?
I think it's kind of hard to put into words, to be honest, because clearly it's the only thing it remotely gets close to it's the Rose Bowl. So I was high school. I was in high school and then went to the Rose Bowl, so I kind of have that memory. And I just think it's neat. I just think it's wonderful when you look around and the importance it means for the entire state, John. I mean, I think we're recognizing more and more and more that football, we're producing tremendous football players in our state in the high school ranks. High school football is becoming bigger and bigger. It's absolutely must-see for everyone on the weekends. And so it's great to see one of the universities in our state, the Big Ten, IU, having success this year. You'd love to see Purdue have a similar level if you could. But it's wonderful since Purdue's had some success at various times, and IU seems to have just been in the midst of futility for so many years. So it's tremendous. It is really one of the few things people want to talk about right now, in addition to the holidays.
It's Bob Lovel, Indiana Sports Talk tonight, tomorrow night. He's going to have you covered all with that. You've got the girls' basketball. You got the boys' basketball, everything ongoing right now. Hey, with the fellas, actually, let's start with the girls. Start with the girls, your impressions on the season so far, because obviously they start earlier, so they're more into it. And the guys are just now really catching into gear. Starting with the girls, what's been your impression across the board around the state in basketball so far at the high school level?
My impression, John, like it is every year, it's gone awfully, awfully quickly. I mean, seriously, we're going to be doing the pairing show before you know it. I think girls basketball right now, though, it's kind of gone the way you wanted, the way you kind of looked at it. Some of the teams that you expected a lot of early in the year, in terms of polls and those things, have responded. They've done well. There are plenty, if you will, there are plenty of great basketball teams in our state, and I think that's the cool thing about it. And it's just one of those things where it's not just boys, it's girls. We've got great teams. But Lawrence Central has really been the story in 4A. I mean, they've just they've had a great run. if you look at it, Lawrence Central.
Uh-oh. The phone, James, see if you can bring Bob down there and see if you can recalibrate Bob. And if not, that is okay. Did you have a question, by the way? Gina is here. Gina Glaros, who was the princess of ice cream here, of Handel's Ice Cream. Do you have a question you were going to ask him to? Did you have something loaded up and ready to go?
I don't.
You don't?
Not right now.
No, really?
Give me a minute.
What are you doing over there?
I was just
thinking about flavors, new flavors at
I
Handel's?
was looking I was researching.
Gina's researching. All
Yes, I
right.
don't sound silly.
Bob rejoins us right now, the Andy Moore Automotive Group
Sorry
hotline.
about
You
that,
faded
John.
a little bit there, Bob. Sorry about that.
Well, you know, when you live in a house that's over 125 years old, sometimes these things happen.
125 years old down in Franklin?
Our house-
Really? That's awesome.
Our house was built in the 1880s, late 80s. Late 1880s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was right around
You say,
Little
wow,
House in the
you try to
Prairie.
Eat it and cool it.
I bet.
And by the way,
I bet.
It's there are ghosts. We've had ghosts at various times too.
No
so
way.
we're all used to
give us an example.
Yeah, we need a story.
Yeah, give us an example of those ghosts.
I love this.
Well, how about sitting on your couch, looking into your dining room, and seeing that your dining room, it's kind of crazy. We have curtains in our dining room, and it's a long story. It's my wife's decorating habits. So those curtains catch fire instantaneously. No source of flame or anything, and have to call the fire department from burning the house down. Just one of those kinds.
Were you
of things.
home?
My wife,
Were you home?
I was absolutely. I was sitting in the living room watching my house catch on fire. Absolutely. True story.
Wow.
Can't make it up. And then my wife, various times, we've lost track of the number of times that my wife will be looking for an article of clothing or something, and she's looked in the closets and can't find it, and then wake up one day and then that article of clothing's lying on the bed, or those kinds of things. And she just thinks that the spirits they're playing with her. I don't get those kinds of things. She's the one that gets it. But the house, the curtains in the dining room catching on fire, absolutely true story. I'll go to my grave telling you it's a true story.
An arsonist poltergeist.
The fire department comes out, and I mentioned the word spontaneous combustion, and they then begin to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. And I said, well, clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. Here's what I know what I'm talking about. My house just caught on fire, and I was sitting right there watching it do it. I said, there's no candle, no flame, no nothing, and I know I didn't do it. So. Yeah, various times we've had those.
What in the hell?
That's an old. It's an old house, John. It's a neat house, but it's an old house, and it has a lot of history, to say the least.
So what you're saying is losing the reception is really the least of your
worries.
Losing the reception is just another day.
An arsonist ghost in your house in Franklin. What the hell, right? Like Spielberg someplace taking notes on this conversation right now.
Well,
my God.
We had a house fire in 1989 where the police were going to arrest me for arson. And we had to go battle that. House caught on fire, and I did actually do it, but I didn't do it on purpose. So we've had our share of fun. It's all calmed down here in the last few years.
I'm glad. Bob Lovel is on the Andy Moore.
Come down, hang out with me, John. Hang out for a week.
I am not that far away from you, buddy.
Are you scared? Are you
no,
scared
I'm good.
Are you scared of ghosts?
Well, I've been into the Slippery Noodles haunted upstairs too down here. So yeah, I've been in some haunted places. We had a haunted bridge in Greene County. Everybody was afraid to go over. But I think it was just because it was like an old rickety bridge, and you were afraid your truck would go through it when you crossed it. But that was always that was always kind of the legend down there. All right, college hoop, really quick. I know you got IU, Chattanooga coming up tomorrow. You got Purdue on the road in Birmingham tomorrow against Auburn. Hey, listen, this hasn't gone the way so far. I'm sure Boilermaker basketball fans would want this to go. But the one thing that Matt Painter told me last week they were trying to do actively is really challenge this group. And this schedule, certainly before the start of the meat of the Big Ten Conference, has been a group challenger for his team, has it not?
Well, yeah, it absolutely has been. And I think it's a good idea. You lost the two-time player of the year. Everybody understands that. But you still have a core group of guys who've been around and won a lot of basketball games. So why not challenge them and make them tough? And I think listen, Auburn is a challenge. There's no question. They're going to guard you. They're going to come after you. You're going to have to get on the glass. You're going to have to slow down transition. And the thing that scares me about the game is you're going to need to make shots. People are going to need to score. And that's my question on who's going to do that and who can consistently do that for the Boilers. So, yeah, it's an important stretch for them as they get ready for the Big Ten. The game I'm paying attention to is UConn at Butler. Who wouldn't want to go to that?
Yes.
That's must-see basketball right there.
Man, and Butler, Bob, they're a couple clicks off right now. If you watch them against Marquette, and then, obviously you've seen them play this year, they're a couple of clicks off. Now, UConn has been certainly back down to earth over the past month, but this would be the type of game and the type of win that this Butler Bulldog program and Thad Matta, they need big time tomorrow.
Well, I think you need it for a number of reasons. One is you feel better about yourself. Number two, you can't allow them to get a lot of ground on you and get some space on you standings-wise if you expect to make the tournament. And I think, more than anything, you need to start putting some things together at this particular time because you're going to be running out of time before you know it.
Let's go as I close with Bob Lovel of Indiana Sports Talk on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Matt Graves and that's America's team, or at least, I don't know, West Central Indiana's team, the Indiana State Sycamores, are 2-0 in the Mo Valley. Missouri State on the road, Murray State at home. Speaking of stirring the echoes, maybe stirring some echoes over in Terre Haute. Good start for them in the Mo Valley, Bob.
I think it's a great start. I really do. And I think that, not a lot of people knew what this team was going to be about because of the turnover. I think everybody understands it. Matthew's got them playing, I think, as well as they can play right now. And he had some guys, he did a great job recruiting. Has some guys back who can play, and so starting to put some things together. The Missouri Valley is not as demanding as it has been, but it's still it's hard to win games in that league, and everybody understands it.
What Bob means by that is it kind of stinks. That's a way to put it, though, Bob. I appreciate that. It's up for anybody, I would think, in the Mo Valley this season.
I think you're
so
right.
hopefully the Sycamores can get a piece of that. Bob, I appreciate that. So get back into your haunted house, and I'll come down there sometime and check it out, okay?
All right, John. Merry Christmas. Thanks.
Right back at you. Bob Lovel of Indiana Sports Talk of the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, brought to you by your 13 Central Indiana Joe Childers Run Express Pro Tire and Auto locations. ExpressPro.com is what I should say. Hi, Gina.
Hi, JMV.
When I say hi, Gina, it sounds like I say hygiene as in I have really nice hygiene.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Hygiene. Nobody's ever said that?
No.
All right.
No, I have my fair share of nicknames.
Nobody has ever said bad hygiene, no? No, nobody? Hey, you went to an IU football game earlier this season. Yeah. Was it Maryland, the one that you attended? What did you think about the whole atmosphere? That was that was the beginning stages, like baby steps of where they are later on tonight in South Bend. You excited? You going to be watching this somewhere?
Of course. Yeah. I'm going to be, I think, finishing baking Christmas cookies with my mom from home. Lindsay and Josh, her fiance, they're having a little watch party.
Are they?
So I might stop by there.
You guys are tripping the light fantastic up there in Hamilton County tonight, aren't you?
Yeah,
baking cookies and going to a watch party.
I can't wait for this game. Yeah.
That's a big thing. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side too.
I want to hear from Don just what the
that's going to be good.
Is there and but the Four Winds Casino.
Yes.
My dad was there with my brother, and they were saying, and of course, Four Winds is in
South Bend. Yeah.
Sold out, the price was $1,200 a night.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Just stay in southern Michigan.
Yeah.
That's a little bit too rich for my blood right there. That is the Princess of Ice Cream across from me here. We would love to see you at Coach's Tavern, Bud Light Blue Friday. I know Matt's going to be in on trying to win these tickets. Hey, James, who won the Gorman tickets as we hit a break here? You got a name?
Anthony Head was his name.
Anthony Head, Tony Head, everybody. He's going to the game, courtesy of the Gorman on Sunday. Congratulations, Anthony, to that. MoyerFineJewelers.com/JMV. I'll explain why you better get your picks in now. That $2,500 gift certificate up for grabs in our college football playoff. MoyerFineJewelers.com/JMV. We'll come back. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live and a Bud Light Blue Friday. Coach's Tavern downtown. We would love to see you right here with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
with JMV.
If somebody gets in your face and calls you a I want you to be nice.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Coach's Tavern. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, I love Michelle. Alex from the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel is here. Carl, is his mic hot? Is his mic as hot as I am right here?
That's JMV.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Carl. Hey, Alex.
How we doing?
This is one badass shirt.
Right?
1991 right here.
Right.
Can't trust it.
It's been years
Me and
in
Chuck
the making.
D and Flavor Flav and Terminator X were together. Market Square Arena. Naughty by Nature. Queen Latifah. Eric B. and Rakim O. Ice-T. The little colors up there. I remember Chuck D said, you know what? I don't care what color you all. We're all in the same gang here tonight, everybody. And I said, Chuck D. from the 7th row. Thank you very much.
The only white guy in Southern Indiana just rocking Public Enemy, right?
Probably nobody else but us five from Greene County.
A bunch of old boys just like, that boy ain't right.
Hey, thank you for this. I'm going to be
you're
rocking
welcome.
this all the time.
Merry Christmas, happy birthday.
Yes, thank you very much.
How you doing?
Good, buddy.
Hey.
You got to come up with the Princess of Ice Cream, a little something right
The
here.
ice cream princess. Frozen 3.
You got something in mind? What do you guys got coming up? I heard Hooligans, maybe. Right?
Yeah, we're January's usually kind of a slower time, so we'll have some vintage releases coming up. Watching the game tonight.
Yep.
We typically give our guys and gals off the week between Christmas and New Year's.
You're for Notre Dame tonight, right? Because you love Purdue.
Well, I was raised on Notre Dame, so sentimentally.
I think Notre Dame stinks. I don't like them.
But, hearts with Notre Dame. I'd love to see Notre Dame go on a title run.
Yeah,
but, if IU wins, we got to come into work next week.
You do.
I was about to say, how does that affect your schedule?
I've already talked to everyone. I'm like, hey, can you give me a day? So they're like, yeah, sure, we'll come in. So we'll see.
One of these days, Barry Odom is going to turn that thing around upside down.
We had a moment last spring. It was pretty good. But
it was a good moment, yeah.
It'd be good for the wallet if IU wins because you've got everyone home for the holidays. They got Christmas money, and they're excited. They're out spending. This is it's unprecedented. We've got a few IU fans. One's up in South Bend now. I got another lady who works for us who is they're fantastic, and they're they don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, pinch me. This is unreal.
Here's what I love in closing here with Alex from the shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel. We got to hit a break, but I love it because you stand there and your ass is got Gina blocked out right there on the AAA membership lounge.
He did. He said,
AAA membership lounge. Everybody's digging and looking at Alex's ass instead of Gina.
1% of the air time.
My brother,
hey,
the shop in Broad
happy
Ripple and
holidays,
Carmel.
Merry Christmas. Thank you very much,
Yes.
everyone. Be
Love you,
safe
brother.
tonight. I can't wait. I'm going to watch the game with my 4 boys and my wife, and we're going to have a blast.
Absolutely.
Win or lose, I'm good. I'm good.
You're good?
The heart wins, the wallet wins. So
thank you, brother.
Hey, thank you very much.
It's Alex, shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel, Coach's Tavern downtown, Bud Light Blue Friday. I've got more Greene County in the house as well. Gina, the Princess of Ice Cream, rejoins, and Tony East coming up as well. You like that nickname, don't you?
Nickname. Who knew?
James told me to hit a break. Let's do so. 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I'm John. That's Carl over there doing the engineering work. That's Jim Kerr of Simple Minds. That sounds very much like the Queen of Ice Cream, Gina Galeros.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's I know this is
Starting
kind
to
of
fill up here.
This has become kind of your gig now, and I dig that, right? Along with the Queen of Ice Cream, Princess of Ice Cream, I should say.
Yes, get it right.
Yeah, I want to get that right.
Of ice cream.
Anything else popping?
You
Any
mean
other?
my life, or
No, I don't want to know that. But I'm afraid what I'm going to find out there.
I am full of surprises.
I bet.
I know.
No, any new gigs horizon-wise?
Not yet. Well, we've been talking a little bit about some
potential
job opportunities,
Well,
but
you know, my
nothing
man-
set in stone yet. I don't know if it's a little early to announce, but Lindsay and I are going to do something with March Madness with you guys.
Yes, you
right?
are. Well, nothing but bun cake right here, Carl. Courtesy of Michelle Kiefer, the awesome Michelle Kiefer.
Yep.
Nothing but bun cake's going to put that together. Hey, go ahead and talk right now since you get your mouth full of bun cake right here, Carl.
Absolutely. We're working on a plan.
You're working on a plan.
So
Are you guys staying in touch with one another at all?
No, we have to do that.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right, then.
Yep.
I can't wait to hear that. Am I going to be a part of it, or am I going to be on the side? Is this a side project of mine right here? Is this like,
your
am I
name
like Simon LeBon in Arcadia, or
Your name is on the marquee, JMV.
like John Taylor in Power Station? Just a little side project for me right here.
You are the lead.
So it's starting to fill up here.
I love
Coaches, I see a
coaches.
couple jerseys, a couple Notre Dame
Matt
jerseys.
Bailey's over there right now.
I
Let me
see
tell
an
you a little story.
IU robe. You
Huh?
see that robe over there?
Yeah, that guy is wearing a robe. It was wide open, too. I'm glad he was going the other way with that robe.
What were you going to say?
Matt Bailey over there, the pride of Eastern Green, 1991 right there, who was also – now, how long did you stay at Indiana State? 2 years? You left after I left, right? Because you knew that it just wouldn't have the impact that it wants to.
Sure.
We played we spent one full semester doing nothing but playing Super Tecmo Bowl when we were over there. That's Matt Bailey from Eastern Green, the pride of Eastern Green in the
Did
class
you
of
guys do
1991.
any work? No.
I did nothing.
Yeah.
I played basketball, played Super Tecmo Bowl, and threw the best parties in the 90s that Terre Haute has ever seen.
You know what? That's
Still legendary
that's what
parties over
matters.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I always say when people go, oh, man, I don't want to go to Terre Haute. It's no fun. I want to say that's an indictment on your boring ass.
Mm-hmm.
All right? It's fun, but you got to be able to do it. And if you're boring, then you won't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on you, not anybody else, not on Terre Haute. It's on your boring ass.
That's right. Well, and I love your motto.
Yeah.
You always tell me, like, life, and if you listen to this show,
we're going to go at it
we
hard.
already know
Yeah.
this, but, like, life is too short to have a bad day and hang out with people who are mad about nothing. And I love that. Like, have fun.
I thought Glaros was going to go too short right there on me and get into blow the whistle or something like that. A little too short action. Life is too short from Glaros. Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I can tell you.
Thank
She
you.
loves that. I can tell you what Tony East is excited about, twofold right here on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, is the Pacers last night looked like that Pacer team that we loved from a year ago, start to finish for the first time, I think, this season in Phoenix. And I know that Tony's a little bit excited about tonight's game. Let's start right there, Tony. Your thoughts with IU and the Fighting Irish that gets underway at 8 tonight.
I keep getting asked that exact question. Tony, how excited are you? Not at all. I'm nervous as shit, JMV. What do you mean excited?
Well, good. Hey, Tony, can I ask you something here?
Yes,
and I know
you
you get the show and you listen to the show. Why is it this show is like the place for S-bombs? Do we know? Because everybody on this show, you and Louis Riddick, Matt Painter, everybody drops an S-bomb on this show. Does James tell you to say that when you come on? Because I don't need to be in on that because I think it's great. I love it.
When I listen to your intro about Terre Haute and partying, and I just know what the vibe is. I can find it very quickly along the way.
No, it is all good, man. I tell you what, when we drop an S-bomb on this show, that just, I think, is an example of the level of excitement that you're into right here. All right, so what do you think is going to take place tonight? You said you're nervous as blank. Right? So what makes you nervous in general? Is this not the classic playing with house money this evening for IU on the road at Notre Dame in this playoff?
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. My dad said that to me today when we were hanging out earlier, and that is kind of true. But also, I got it's just this year's so different, right? I was actually nervous and stressed that day they played Ohio State. Oh man, this could actually be a huge day and a real program builder. And then they just tripped all over themselves and had these embarrassing special teams plays. And I was just mad the rest of the day, right? When has IU football ever made me mad before? So that's why I get in this not excited state that everybody else is in, because there's a huge chance that I'm just grumpy as heck the rest of the day after this game ends. But I don't know. I feel like Notre Dame is a lot of better players, but not the better quarterback, and that in theory means this game could go either way. I kind of think it's going to be low scoring. So, Rourke, it's your day, man. If he can go crazy and they can have a good passing game in this cold weather, a little snowy environment, I think they've got a shot. But it's going to be tough. Notre Dame's pretty good. I am one of the few IU people who will admit I am daunted. I am, in fact, daunted today.
I will say this, Tony, and we'll get to the Pacers coming up here. And this is all kind of, football 101 that everybody would tell you, but the impact that IU's offense could have if it moves the chains, and I think this is a situation for Pons, for example, a situation to where a big defensive play that leads to points, if we're talking about a pick six or a scoop and score, to me, if IU's going to win it, I think something, shall we say, magical has to happen for the Hoosiers like that defensively. I think you have to, because you're on the road in this environment, I think you're going to have to try to manufacture something that not a lot of people are believing could happen here. And IU getting something done like that, big play-wise defensively, I think could be the difference between them, having a legit opportunity to win this game or, maybe losing by 10+.
Yeah, Notre Dame's defense probably a little better. Their running game's obviously exceptional. So you need a play like that, right? Or else the other team's going to have a ton of control. And they had that kind of game when Pons was going crazy throughout the season several times, and their defense won them a game against Michigan. I know that they can have games like that, but it's going to be really tough in that environment, and it's going to be harder to throw than normal. So it's almost, I think you're right, almost a requirement that they have a major defensive play go their way. Or they could just summon the spirit of Northern Illinois and have no sweat and win 17-14. I'd be okay with that too.
It's Tony East joining us, normally talking Pacers, which we'll transition into right now. Was I right about that, watching last night from front to back? Was that the closest we have seen for a full game of the type of team that we expected, the type of team that we witnessed a year ago with the Pacers?
Yeah, that's among their best 3 48-minute performances of the season. I would say in Dallas was up there for sure. And then they just stomped the Pelicans and played pretty well for 48 minutes, but the Pelicans stink. So I think it's among their best 2 full games of the season for sure, where even right at the beginning, the Suns hit them pretty hard. They responded right away with, I think, a 14-0 first quarter run. And the rest of the night, it never felt like they had no answer for anything Phoenix threw at them, right? Even when Kevin Durant was going crazy, the Pacers had offensive answers, and at times when their offense was struggling, they defended pretty well and actually made the Suns' life pretty tough. That third quarter in particular stands out. They were good on both ends, right? And I think this is now maybe 4 of their last 5 games. Honestly, they defended okay in that horrible loss against Charlotte, where their defense just kind of looks okay, kind of fine. It's not good, but still steps in the right direction towards where they hoped they would be on that end of the floor this year. And when they play like that, I mean, they can keep up with anybody because their offense is usually good enough to do so. And so last night, even with Halliburton only taking 9 shots, not a single 2-pointer, they had plenty to beat a pretty dang good Suns team, and Kevin Durant going crazy. It was really impressive, and I agree, among maybe their number 1 best 48-minute performances of the season.
Yeah, he's Tony East joining us, covers the Pacers on the Indy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Still a couple games, I should say. Sacramento, Golden State coming up. Golden State lost by 51 last night, and Steph Curry did not have a field goal last night either, which that is a team on the schedule for the Pacers coming up in the next 2. Was this a product? Good to see you guys, man. Well done right there. Big Jerry's here. How much of that was a product of Booker not being a part of things for the most part there in the second half?
Yeah, they were winning when he left the game, so obviously it'd be easy for the Suns to say, oh, they would have won if Booker had played, but it's not that easy because the Pacers were playing pretty well even when he was out there. And Andrew Nembhard's return has shown exactly why players like that sometimes have tough nights against the Pacers. Ask Tyrese Maxey, ask C.J. McCollum, and now ask Devin Booker. It's not easy to score on that guy. Obviously, it's a factor that Devin Booker did not play the rest of the game, no doubt, but I think the Pacers still could have had a pretty good chance to win. I mean, they were up, 19 in the fourth quarter, and Booker was playing in the early parts of the third. So they handled him pretty well, even though he is obviously an incredible shot maker and passer. And, again, another sign that their defense is taking at least some positive steps after, 6 days of practice the last 2 weeks. They needed it.
Yeah, I say what really stood out to me last night in watching them function offensively. They didn't shoot the ball well or anything like that, but the ball didn't stick. And it rarely, if ever, stuck with Matherin. And I don't think it stuck with Siakam. That was just kind of the fluid ball movement that we really enjoyed from a year ago. And Tony, simply put, we had not seen that really at all this season. How much of an influence do you think Andrew Nembhard being back in the swing of things played last night?
Yeah, I agree with both of those things, that Nembhard had a big factor, and that in general, since that Philly game, the passing they've had just looks way more intentional, right? It's a weird thing because there's no, stat to prove what I'm saying, and I'm very dorky with the numbers all the time, but you can just see it, right? It doesn't feel like they're just throwing it around the perimeter because they're supposed to look for an advantage. They're actually using actions and passes to create openings, and their offense is flowing way better when they're playing like that. And it's no coincidence to me that they won 4 or 5 right now, which is, I think, their best 5-game stretch of the season. It has to be. And the only loss was a close one that, those 5 games are the first 5 games since Nembhard was allowed to play in the second half after returning, right? He had a couple games where he only played the first half. Those were Toronto and Brooklyn games were ugly. As soon as he was kind of unleashed and the team could, insert him in the ways that they want to and have a normal-ish rotation, they look great. And he was exceptional these last 2 games. I think he had no turnovers last night. That's usually the biggest thing that can hold him back from a big game is turnovers, and he has none. I mean, the defense he provides, the ball movement he has, and the way he's just able to kind of find spaces for his shot, even though I wouldn't really call it anywhere on the floor like his signature space. He was just awesome, right? He carves out all these lanes. He makes life easier for Tyrese Halliburton. He makes everybody else's life easier on defense. And you know how much this team loves to have 2 point guards on the floor. Now they can do that for 48 minutes, right, between McConnell, Nembhard, and Halliburton. So he's helped Halliburton. He's helped the defense. He's kept the ball moving. I mean, it's just kind of everything that they've needed to get out of a funk. They need to keep it going, obviously, but if they can stay healthy and he can keep playing like this, I mean, at least they have a chance to avoid some of those stinkers they had earlier in the season.
Well, they meet a team in Sacramento that has played, down, considering the same level, I would guess, in this case, to the Pacers so far. That's coming up, and then obviously Golden State that got tuned up by Memphis in Memphis last night. So, now all of a sudden, this is what's so great about going out west on these trips. You win that first one, and, I mentioned IU, playing with house money or whatever. You really do in the NBA play with house money when you get that first win on the road when you're going on a road trip like that.
Yeah, as hard as this one is, I think everybody would have taken 2-1, from a Pacers perspective, and now they've got a pretty good shot at that. Obviously, the teams they're playing are really good, but, it's like a perfect situation for Carlisle to say, oh, these guys have been frustrated about how they're playing at home, or, oh, these guys just got stomped by Memphis, they're going to be ready to play. And that might be true, but at the same time, it does show, these teams are not playing great, even though they are decent opponents. Golden State's been good all year, but I think a lot of the stats said that game they just played against Memphis was the worst game Steph and Draymond have ever played together, ever, right? So they're clearly not playing at their best. Sacramento, I think, is 6-9 at home, and Mike Brown's having to talk about his team, not giving the effort that they need, or, he has the team signed contracts about playing the right way, and it's, not happening. Sounds a little bit like the Pacers at their low points this year, so they'll be 2 hungry opponents, but I think those games are more winnable than maybe everybody thought, especially given how the Pacers are playing, right? I don't think they would be favored against both of those teams, in a series or anything necessarily right now, but they've shown this season and right now recently that they can beat anybody when they're playing their best, so they've got themselves a shot, and given that they are playing better and really need the wins right now, I think they can win both of those, but it'll be tough on a back-to-back and against decent teams.
Yeah, it is. It was good to see last night, and my only response in what I said last night on X was, that's what I'm talking about, and that's when I have you on or anybody else on, that's exactly what I'm talking about with this. I will also say the enthusiasm on the bench, which I think is also necessary with this group because they were kind of down in the dumps, that Thomas Bryant brings. I think that's also infectious as well. He just got a really cool enthusiasm with that group that I think he fits right in. Easier to do, obviously, when you win, but I think you can see that so far with him on that bench. He fits like a glove into what they're doing with that program right now.
Yeah, he's a good player, obviously. Of course, he's a Hoosier, so I have very fond memories of what he can do on the basketball court. But, he's just kind of versatile, right? He can do a little bit of everything as a player, which really helps. I don't think he's going to be nearly as good as Jalen Smith was last year, but he can do a lot of the stuff Jalen Smith does and not embarrass himself. I think that's going to matter for the Pacers. And there is an element to that where, when a new guy joins your team, especially when they are like Thomas Bryant, an energy giver themselves, where you don't want to give them your first impression of being like, oh, I'm the guy who sucks up all the energy on the bench, right? So I think there's an element to that. You saw that with Moses Brown. They won their first 3 games with Moses Brown when they got back to Indy, and he had, got to see everything up close at home. And I'm not saying Moses Brown was the reason why, but there's just an energy factor to it. And you know what else helps the bench energy, JMV? When Obi Toppin can rip the ball out of the top of the backboard again.
God, can you believe that? Can you imagine having that level of athleticism like that? That's incredible.
What you think? What do you think the highest hoop height is that you could do that on? Mine might be only 6 or 7.
Oh my God! I used to be able to dunk on an 8.5-foot goal. I don't know if I could right now or not. I think I got as high as a little over 9, but I was much younger. I probably couldn't right now. But he gets up, Quinn was diagramming that last night. He got up near the top of the square. There was always these things back in the day where Darrell Griffith, when he went to Louisville and obviously played with, among others, I think that maybe the only team he played with, the Jazz in the NBA, is that he could get a quarter off the top of the backboard while he was playing at Louisville, Darrell Griffith. And I think Obi probably could, to be honest with you. I think he could probably get a coin off the top of the backboard if he worked hard enough at it.
I know it's a crazy thing because it is, because of how high the ball is. But of all the people's reactions, I think James Johnson being stunned by it is the craziest to me because
me too.
He's been on so many teams and has seen so many crazy players, and he was a teammate of MVP Derrick Rose, who's up there with the most athletic players I've ever seen. And so the fact that he's oh my God, how did he do that? Says a lot to me. And he's done it twice now. I don't know if you noticed this, but the second that ball got stuck, Toppin threw the towel off the shoulders. He was ready to go. He knows he can get it.
Well, and you don't take a run at it. You just kind of nonchalantly get up and just jump. I mean, there's no thought, or it just goes up and just knocks it out of there. And what he also brings off the bench, and, it's my mom's favorite player. She loves Obi. And it's good to see what he has brought. I will say this. I don't want to hear Quinn anymore say, I can't remember the last time he missed a shot, because I think after that was said, I don't know if he made a shot after that. So never say that during the game. However, he has been a big deal here recently off the bench, and that's what he was a year ago. That's good to see.
Yeah, that guy on Twitter's not yelling at you about your mom and that signing anymore because
he cussed my mom. Yeah, that was Jose, whatever his dumbass name is. Cussed my mom about Obi Toppin, her favorite player. Yeah. So.
This month of December, though,
anyway.
Toppin's making everything right, which is obviously a huge part of it. The second half last night he started to miss, like you just said, but he's been on fire, and that's a big part of his turnaround, and they needed him to be better because their bench wasn't what it was last year. His rebounding has been awesome this month, too. His averages per game of rebounding has been almost 7. He didn't hit 7 rebounds in a game a single time before this month. He's really
Rick's been matching up, too. When other teams are going small, Rick's been matching up a little bit, taking Miles out and, leaving Siakam and Toppin out there. And I think most part, as much as I love Miles, I think for the most part that's worked from what we've seen.
It totally has, and that's what I think. Even with Thomas Bryant in the fold, last night, the Suns were all right, we're going to play Oso Iguodaro at the 5, and Rick Carlisle said, okay, I'll play Obi Toppin at the 5, and it's going to be totally fine. We don't need to go big against you guys, and it worked. And then they had Miles Turner on the court to start the fourth quarter, which they never do, and lo and behold, that lineup was great. They got up 19, and that wiggle room really mattered because they could survive Kevin Durant looking like a god for 5 minutes. So, really, all that stuff really matters. Toppin's been exceptional, and they've really needed his turnaround because he was really struggling early in the year.
That is our friend Tony East right there. The next hoops, Forbes Sports, WTHR.com. Big-time IU fans going with the Hoosiers coming up later on tonight. Tony, try to enjoy the game, my friend, and we'll check back in next week. Have a great holiday, okay?
Hey, you got it. Have a good Christmas and holiday, everybody. Thank you.
It's Tony East on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline.
How you feeling about the game tonight?
I don't like Notre Dame, but I picked him to win. I wish. Sorry, Paul. I wish you would win by like half 100. I've never liked Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I've never have. I mean, it's not like I carry that around as a badge of honor and go, oh, yeah, great. I hope I lose. Like, I'm not actively, but I've never been a fan.
Not a Notre Dame.
And I would not mind at all if IU ran roughshod. I just don't think they will.
You ever dislike a person and so you dislike their team?
Depends on if the person's a crank to me. Person's a crank to me, like this guy making fun of my mom for being a fan of Obi. Yes.
Yeah.
So, that's Gina right there. The princess of ice cream is in the house. It's good to have you here.
Great to be here. Are you going to stay here at Coach's
Yeah,
and watch
look,
the
every
game
time
tonight?
every time you show up here, like our numbers, everybody starts watching Gina.
Aw.
AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Thank you.
Yes, it's great to be here.
We'll
Always
take
a pleasure to see you, man.
Quick break,
My
we'll
friend.
come back. Don Fisher still to come. Bud Light Blue Friday, your chance at Titans and Colts tickets too. Coach's Tavern downtown. Would love to see you. As Gina said, it is filling up with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Attention, whoever you are, this channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Welcome back. Tommy S.'s Place is the legendary Coach's Tavern downtown. Well, look at this. Dead or Alive. Speaking of Dead or Alive, is the lead singer of this group Dead or Alive? What do you say, Gina?
I'm going to say alive.
Alive, says Gina. Tommy S., dead or alive?
Well, I don't want to be wrong about an alive person being dead, so I'm going to say alive.
I know. It was a safer answer.
Man, I've done that before, too.
He's Googling it right now. What's the Google machine say?
No. Pete Burns is dead. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Pete Burns has been dead, I believe, for a while, since 2016.
Oh, rest in
Pete Burns.
Hey, that just kind of got dark there, JMV. Let's talk about something else.
I always thought Peter Burns was one hell of a name. I wonder if that was his original name or he just...
Stage name.
Stage name?
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that? I went with this... Actually, Mark Patrick said JMV for me, and that was
Lineck.
Dirk Lineck.
Remember Dirk Lineck back in the day?
Man, Mark, there was a time, Tommy, yes, you remember this, where Mark Patrick was doing absolutely everything.
Everything. He was on Bob and Tom. He was all over the city.
Bob and Tom, Sports Locker, Wish TV, Channel 8, the Hoosier Lottery host.
Yep.
Remember how much that went in the tank when it passed along from him to Cody Stark? I thought, God dang. Why don't we just go ahead and end this piece of crap now? That's something I think they could bring back. Could they not? The lottery show, would that work now? Do you think? Yeah, Gina, you're a TV person. Would that work?
I mean, I think it depends on the talent. That's why people watch and listen. Is whoever's hosting.
Cody Stark. It wasn't Shireen on the scene. Who was the other one? She went on entertainment. What's her name from here, Carl? Because you're at the E Channel. Who's from here?
It's Kat.
Kat.
Oh, Kat Sadler.
Kat Sadler. Kat Sadler.
She was with
on there
Fox,
too.
right?
Where's Cody Stark now? Sacramento or something like that? He reminds me of Dave Smiley.
Yeah.
Although they bros, Dave Smiley and Cody Stark.
Girls.
But I don't think it lasted very long, but Mark was great. Mark had this collection because people would bring him, that were on the show, Tommy S., they'd bring him hats. And he had this incredible collection of hats from everybody that brought him hats over the years. But he was doing everything back then.
Every time I buy a new hat, the wife gets upset. She's like, "You already have too many hats." Throw some out, you know.
How many hats do you have?
Oh God, who knows? I've got those hat organizers in my closet.
Yes.
Probably got 7 or 8 of them that hold like 7 apiece. I probably got over half 100 hats, 50 hats.
Okay.
I have a lot of hats. I got to let everybody see this glorious hair, though.
But I get a lot of free hats from like sponsors, like our good friends at Zinc Distributing give me a lot.
I
of
love
hats
Zinc.
And
yeah.
You know, I saw Jim down there, too.
Yeah, Bud Light in the house.
Hey, you see Jerry? Jerry's down there, too, with Jim. Is Jerry going to throw a party at his house? Hey, Jerry, when am I going to Franklin, man? Yes. I can't wait. Hey, by the way, you guys remember who was the co-host with Mark on the Hoosier Lottery?
Oh.
The woman?
I do not remember.
She's awesome, too. Barbara Hobbs?
Yep.
Yep. And then
Your memory. I'm just looking at you, JMV. Like, you're wild. It's wild.
The great voice of one Tony Lamont. Thanks, Mark. Was Tony Lamont. I love Tony Lamont. Longtime voice here in the city, obviously with TLC.
Did Mark Patrick on Bob and Tom, was he Harry Carey and Marge Shaw?
He was Harry Carey and Marge Shaw.
Hey, honey.
Yeah, I mean, he was what the hell was some stuff that wouldn't play today, by the way, too.
Oh,
now.
no.
Like stuff they did back in the 80s and 90s where people would go, yeah, probably not today. But
Not today. They'd be canceled in about 10 seconds.
Legendary. Hey, by the way, we get people coming in here to Coach's Tavern because of Bud Light Blue Friday. We got Titans Colts tickets to give away, but because of the game tonight, too, you're IU guy, right?
IU guy. I mean, I like Notre Dame, but I've always been IU. It's been hard to cheer for him for a long time. But
yeah.
Man, how about Signetti this year?
How about that?
Flipped a switch up there. Or down
Yes. Like Gina's a big fan, and she went to IU Indy. Big fan of IU football, aren't you now?
Yeah. I think I speak for so many people who are, you don't want to be like a bandwagon fan. But I definitely am this year.
We've been waiting for this forever as IU fans. We're
It's
like, are we ever going to be good? And no, we're not. Oh, we are.
Yeah.
I think about guys like Tommy or like Bill Benner, for example, who has, or my good friend Bob Kaiser, who actually played in the football program. Matt Surface, friend of the show, who was in the program as a linebacker, that have been through this. And each and every year you talk about how it's going to be different and how, you're going to be bowl eligible with your 6 wins and all that. And it was always disappointing. And then you're talking about tripping the light fantastic this season, Tommy S.
I mean, completely different team.
Yeah.
Disciplined. They'd run through a wall for Signetti. And, we had some hope with Tom Allen back there in 2020.
Oh, that COVID year. Not forever. That COVID year was magical. I hate to put it that way, but, yeah, for the football program.
So Penix got hurt, and it kind of went downhill, and, the rest is history. But, no, we're happy to have Kurt, and we hope he sticks around.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like talk is cheap, and I can't recall in any other facet where somebody comes in and they promise, they deliver everything that they're promising. And I think that's why you have a fan in me and so many people who were otherwise not diehard fans before.
When you attend Hoosier Hysteria and you say Purdue sucks, Ohio State sucks, and so does Michigan, he walked the walk. Yes, they lost to Ohio State, but he beat Purdue, beat the brakes off Purdue, and then beat Michigan. It was a close game, but he did it. This guy is no joke.
He talked about, what they were going to be this year. I think the one thing that he did over anything else was instill confidence and enthusiasm in a program and a fan base that he knew. When I had him on this show, he got the job basically around, I think, this time. Was it not? Somewhere in the neighborhood of this time a year ago? Was it early December a year ago when he got the gig officially?
Well, I know.
But he came on with me, Tommy S. Yeah. And I was actually at the West Side Pub on that day. He came on with me, and he said, everybody around here looks at the football program as a doormat. And it's like I walk in and, I see, how unenthusiastic everybody is about it. And that was his first thing. And he did it, it seems, from day number one. I remember Don Fisher, who's going to join us a little bit later. He said in the summertime, he said, JMV, this is going to be different. This is going to be different. And at the time you say, oh, okay, well, we've
got to come in
heard
with
this
an
story
attitude
before.
like that. Sure. What are you going to say? Oh, we're going to suck again.
But when he said that, Don was so on the money. He said that back in the summertime, but Tommy S. has been different.
It has been. And, I mean, look at what, you look, he left James Madison. He took a bunch of coaches, a bunch of players. Look at James Madison this year. I mean, they still balled out. I think they went like 10-2 or something like that. They won their conference, I believe.
Yeah.
This guy just has a legacy of winning.
I think, 17, 18 of those players came.
Yeah.
And then you go out and get yourself a quarterback, which is always a good help right there.
Man,
Somebody that can
Rourke's
play
been
like
nothing
Rourke.
short of amazing this year.
Yep. So, we're going to watch the game here. You got that on this evening?
Got the game on. We'll have the audio up. So come on in. Get here early. We're going to fill up quick. No reservations.
No
First come, first
reservations.
serve.
How are things going around here?
Things are good. I mean, this is our time of the year to shine. We just had the Big Ten championship a couple weeks ago. That was good for us. Last weekend we had this, the Indy Classic, I think.
Yep.
The basketball.
Yeah, Purdue, Texas A&M, Butler, and Wisconsin over here.
Yeah.
Any Wisconsin fans show up in the place?
Wisconsin fans down here. Obviously, a lot of Purdue fans.
They'll drink a little beer from Wisconsin.
They know how to
Did
drink
you
beer.
have to load up on beer and cheese here, didn't you? Sausage?
They actually drank us out of beer one year for the Big Ten championship, the football game.
Yeah, I know it.
Miller
They bring
Lite
the
was
football
gone.
program.
I'm like, okay.
By the way, the Big Ten, their football program with Luke Fickell, you talk about taking a step back. This landscape in college football, college basketball as well, collegiate athletics is so different now with football. I mean, it's not like you're going to have to be something to maintain
You better
at a
have
high
some money
level
to pay
with
these guys.
with NIL and the transfer portal. You got to have that. Those are the things you have to have in order. First things first with all this.
Yeah, and IU's got a huge endowment. I mean, they got a lot of wealthy donors, so they can compete.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
All right, Tommy S., we got that. We got Bud Light here that's flowing on a Bud Light Blue Friday. Our great friends from Zinc are down there, too. Hey, make sure everybody knows about not only tonight, but this weekend as well, buddy.
Yeah, tonight. I mean, we obviously the biggest game in Indiana football program history.
Yep.
Tomorrow we've got, 3 other CFP games, I believe. And then Sunday, Colts home game. So it's going to be a packed weekend. It's going to be great. Come on out. Come on down. We'll have cold beer, hot food.
I think Gina's going to spend the night here. Do you mind?
This is the place. I mean, all my friends, we hang out.
We got everything you
We hang
need.
out here. Just go home and come back
At
tomorrow.
3 a.m., you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So
Yeah.
What, you got cottage cheese in here, Tommy S.?
Absolutely. Cottage cheese, broccoli. We got some healthy stuff.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, Fever, IU, the success, what has that done for
Oh,
your
man,
business?
the Fever this year, that was phenomenal for us. And, thank you, Caitlin Clark, for coming to the Fever. We're glad to have you. She's changed the entire landscape of women's basketball, the WNBA. And, summertime's generally a slower sales time for us.
Sure.
And Fever Fan brought the noise down. And we had people coming in from all over the country just to watch her. A lot of Iowa fans, obviously, would come in from Iowa to see her. So, yeah, it's great. So we're loving it.
Tommy, yes, we love you, brother.
Thanks.
You are awesome as always.
Thanks for
Bud
being
Light
here and
Blue
having me.
Friday, yes.
Love
Tommy,
chatting.
yes. Coach's Tavern, we still got Tom for you. Gina's hanging out here. The queen of ice cream, the princess of ice cream.
I can go by either.
Is your
I'll
mom
answer to either
your
one.
mom's the queen of ice
Yes.
cream, though, right?
Hello. Oh, this guy's.
That guy looked right at your face right there.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Is that what happens at your house up in Hamilton County? Dude just like come by and look in the window like that.
Peeping Toms.
That was. He did look pretty.
I don't think he knew. Are these tinted windows?
Were you startled?
Okay, that's why.
Were you startled?
There's tinted.
You were startled, weren't
He
you?
did.
Yeah,
he looked
windows
right
are hard
at
to see
me.
and during the day.
He goes, "Hey, baby." That's what he said right there. Hey, baby. Hey, Bill Webb says, didn't Mark Patrick start on Friday Night Videos? Mark Patrick, actually, RTV6 did a counter program during the MTV video music era of the 80s, counter programming to Friday Night Videos, which was on NBC at that time. And they did their own local video show. So he hosted a video show, I think it was on a Saturday night. But they had their own video show locally done. And Mark, I want to say that may have been his first or close to first ever job. Not Friday Night Videos, but it was RTV6's local video. I don't know how long it lasted. I don't think very long, but they did that for a minute. So RTV6 back then. Hey, by the way, we got to hit a break here. Jim McCann, Gina, says you've actually rooted against teams because you didn't like someone. Will you be naming names? You going to name names?
Will I?
Jim McCann in Southern California wants to know if you're naming names.
I better not name names. If I'm a smart woman.
I'll tell you, Jim, about it. You just let me know. I'll tell you all about it.
Hey, you don't want to put yourself in a social media hole. So
no,
it's hard to get out of.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
Tommy, yes, thank you, brother, for having us.
Absolutely. Welcome anytime.
Coach's Tavern downtown Bud Light Blue Friday continues. Gina rejoins us. The princess of ice cream is here. And we got Don Fisher coming up also in the 5 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. And if you do go someplace, take us with you, but just show up here. Coach's Tavern downtown. There's a guy right there that looked at you. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
That is.
Ride with JMV.
Give me my theme music.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
We are back at Coach's Tavern downtown. You can tell we're enjoying things on a Friday, Matt. Thank you very much. Emax is here. Emax is rocking a Calvin Klein. We used to call those toboggans. Is that the old school term, toboggan?
That's a Southern thing, isn't it?
Is it toboggan? Toboggan's also a sled.
Somebody said that when I was in Louisville, my photographer called it the beanie, a toboggan.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, a sled? And that was the first time I ever heard of it, but I
Did
guess
they
it's
call
one
the
of the
couch
same.
the Davenport in Louisville, too?
No.
I'm going to go. I'll meet you on the Davenport. You
Never.
go, what?
That's new to me.
No?
No.
Did they say code instead of cold?
Yes. Warsh.
Yeah. They say coats instead of Colts
Yep.
like AC does?
Oh, yeah.
No, just joking.
Coats, yeah.
Coats. Coats. Stop laughing, Carl.
So you call it toboggan.
Hey, see, Eastern Green is not allowed to come here and then leave before the end of the damn show. Where'd you get your manners? Greene County there, Bailey? Come on, man. All right, good to see you guys. Take it easy. That's Bailey right there. Bailey knows in terms of me where all the bodies are buried right there.
So you gotta be nice.
Yeah, he knows it all the bad stuff right there. That's Matt Bailey right there. It's Gina Galero. She is the princess of ice cream. We were talking about, is that a dialect or what? How would you describe that? Southern terms. I guess Southern terms in this case, right?
Well, I guess
Davenport, couch, code instead of cold, hoed instead of hold. That's still, I get that where I'm from. I mean, everybody that I went to school with said, you listen to me in 1988, I'm saying hoed instead of hold.
Yep.
No doubt.
So you call a beanie a toboggan.
I called it a toboggan, yeah.
Gotcha.
Toboggan. Hey, go grab your toboggan. And now I just say hat. What do you call
I say beanie.
beanie?
Yeah.
I've never called it a beanie
What's
once in
this?
my life.
This is I'm trying to be cool when I wear this.
You think you're Mary Tyler Moore right there is what you think.
I would say this.
Hey, put on the hat. AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. Sign up today. Does Gina Galeros believe?
It doesn't. I have so many beanies at home, but I wear this one a lot.
Do you think you're Mary Tyler Moore or Rhoda? Which one?
I'll go by Mary. It doesn't mess up my hair, so you don't get hat hair with this one. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you can even wear it over the.
But you don't want to
headset.
wear a beanie because with that head of hair.
No, I can't do it. Well, I'm a walking advertisement.
You don't cover up, baby.
WeGrowHairIndy.com. See, they're using my babies now over there. No, you don't cover up. You don't cover up this incredible piece of hair greatness right here. But you do ride this in the back. You don't ride it up here. You ride this. That's a Mark Patrick deal that I learned. You know, just put him in the back. Mark used to actually have his head set, I think, around his neck because he never wanted to mess up his hair.
Sure.
So I've always learned that. You're watching IU later on tonight?
Absolutely.
You and your podcasting host of the future, right? Lindsay Monroe, you're going to be watching this game together later on tonight?
She's on the way back from Florida with her fiance, Josh, and they're hosting a little watch party. Going to finish some Christmas cookies with my mom, and we're doing it for the whole fam because we have a wedding after Christmas. So we are.
Who's getting married? Are you getting married?
I am not getting married. Okay. No, but I'm the maid of honor for my cousin. She has her wedding's in Franklin, the garment factory. So anyway, we are baking cookies galore for Christmas and for a wedding.
I'm going to the garment factory for I don't know if I can say this on the air though. A birthday party. I think he knows. My friend Jeff Watson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good friend Jeff Watson's turning 65, I believe, and that's on Sunday evening, I believe. Now, great place down in Franklin too. Now, are you taking the girls out for a party? Because the maid of honor's in charge of.
We already did that. We actually partied in your favorite state of Michigan for the bachelorette party.
Nice job, maid of honor. Jesus.
Hey.
Let's bore this up a little bit here.
What are you doing for the game tonight?
It's a good question. I may stay here.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't figured it out yet. I'm going to go where the wind blows me.
There you go.
I'm going to go where the wind blows.
Okay.
Right here. Matt says we're all going to watch it right here with Emax. We'll take a break. James, talk to me. Don Fisher next. Is he going to be good to go? That's not Oh, sorry. A ringing endorsement. We're expecting Don Fisher coming up on the other side. Coach's Tavern, Bud Light Blue Friday. We've got Titans Colts tickets for you. Get here to Coach's. You can watch the game, have great food, and ice cold Bud Light. AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. Todd and others can lead as well in the 5 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
We're waiting.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I got to thank you guys for joining us. Downtown Indy, Coach's Tavern, Bud Light Blue Friday. Our friends from Zinc are in the house. Titans Colts tickets in the house. Hey, Matt, you win yet? Are you on the verge of winning over there?
No. He says no, shaking his head.
That is the Princess of Ice Cream. Gina Glaros is right here.
So I'm wondering if I get a job eventually, if I leave the ice cream business. Can you still call me Princess of Ice Cream?
I think so,
I think you
yeah.
can. Yeah.
Because you're getting ready to open up a new Handles location here soon, right?
In Zionsville, yes.
Zions.
I'm always going to be the princess of
Is it going to take this? How long does it take this damn thing to get built?
Well, we have to settle on a location first.
Really?
And that's my dad and I, we just had a meeting with them. We're
Oh, you're in the
between a
meeting
few.
too, are
Well,
you?
I mean, he's
I guess as the Princess of Ice
the
Cream, you
face,
got to
but
have your
I'm
ass in
there
on the meeting.
sometimes for moral
Yeah.
support. So we're in between a few locations. It just kind
What's this like worm bait or fish bait thing you guys have? What is that?
Where'd
I
you
think
get-
you got like gummy worms.
And I run the social media too for handles on our Instagram, and I have not posted anything about that.
Gummy worms?
Fish bait Sunday, vanilla
Yeah.
ice cream with dirt, aka Oreo.
Okay.
Oreo crumbs and chocolate-covered magic rocks and gummy worms.
Who the hell's eating that?
Kids.
Oh, okay. They like that, do
Yeah,
they?
you know what?
Okay.
I actually, I'm trying to make this story short. I had a nightmare. You have like workmares. This nightmare that I had ages ago was I was by myself at the store on a hot summer day. A kid and his grandparents came up to order a fish bait sundae, and I was trying to make it. And you ever have these
Yeah.
dreams where like you do something, you can't do it, you have to remake it over,
Yeah, you could never do
so
it,
anytime
huh?
you say fish bait sundae, that's what brings me back is doing that dream. Anyway.
A lot of sweetness in that one. The fish bait sundae.
Yeah.
A lot of sweet stuff
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
baby.
All right, that's Gina. I'm John. Don Fisher, hopefully in just a little bit. We don't want to intrude because we know he's preparing.
He's a busy man.
Well, 7 o'clock, coverage begins right here. 8 o'clock is the kick. From Notre Dame Stadium with IU and Notre Dame. The first, it's a standalone on a Friday night with the Hoosiers and the Fighting Irish, the first game of the college football playoffs, the 12-team playoffs. So we don't want to intrude on his time. So hopefully we can get him coming up in just a minute, too. You may want to go ahead, too. If we don't get Don as well, James, we'll do a little producer's work on the air. I mean, you can call Matt Surface. Maybe Matt can hop on here. I did want to get a good, strong IU angle before we get into the Colts happy hour coming up here at the top of the hour. So we got that working, but we got a lot more conversation regarding this game tonight with you. Titans and the Colts coming up on Sunday, and the Pacers from last night with a busy show. Tony East a little bit earlier was yet another guest that came on this show and dropped an S-bomb. Incredibly impressive string. We're on a run of dropped S-bombs on this show like nobody's business. We're very proud of that. Tony East a little bit earlier covers the Pacers. Bob Lovel, the Gorman, and it was a busy week. For example, yesterday, Molly McGrath of ESPN, she's on the sideline for the game with the Hoosiers and the Irish tonight. Joined us yesterday. That podcast is at 1075thefan.com. So until Don or until Matt, we got time for you at 239-1070. And Todd, will bring Todd on board here to join us now. Hello, Todd. How are you?
Hey, John. Hey, Gloria.
Hello.
Gloria says hello. Oh, she did, I guess. There she is.
I'll answer to Gloria. How's it going, Todd?
By the way, when I call in, I say crap or poo. So to be fair.
That is okay, man. You keep it between the lines. We appreciate that.
We're going to do a quick small world rotation here. So it turns out an idea, and Tommy F's aunt and uncle live 2 houses down from me in McCordsville. Small world, right?
Love Tommy S. Yes.
So Lindsay, Ball State graduate, correct? I believe.
Yes.
As is Mark Patrick, who we've discussed. My favorite Mark Patrick character, Nicaragua, who was in the business, and by the business I do mean the industry. Right?
Well, he's the world's most cliched DJ. That was making fun, and hell, that's probably I probably sound exactly like that every Saturday night. Right there was Nicaragua, and if you knew, much like what I do, this is something else that I learned from Mark. is Nicaragua constantly hit the post on every song, which the post is you get the intro music, and that's the start of the lyrics, the start of the words. That's in our world called hitting the post. And Nicaragua, the world's most cliche DJ, always hit the post.
Everybody always played Mellencamp's "I Need a Lever." It was
yeah, well, he recited the Gettysburg Address and hit the post for Mellencamp's "I Need a Lever."
And then Gina, of course, an IU Indy grad, and my son, who I mentioned the other day, also an IU Indy grad, is Eric, and set up the game tonight in South End, and dropping $1,100. And so, it's a small world, and we all live in it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Hey, got a prediction tonight? IU Notre Dame. What are you going with, Todd?
You know what? I think it's close. I see Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame's not going to win by a field goal because their field goal kicker is basically in a wheelchair. But either Notre Dame wins by 10 or IU wins by 3, and I'm not going to call it. So that's close. So,
Todd, anything else, my friend?
Hi, Gina. Have a good evening.
Hi, you too. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. See you guys.
That is Todd right there. I will tell you this. Like, we had to make our picks on this today, IU and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And only two of us, or I should say two people, picked IU. I ended up, and I don't want Notre Dame to win. I'm not a fan of Notre Dame at all. I would like to see them lose by 50. But, however, I have Notre Dame winning 24-20.
You do?
So just kind of going with that.
How many people predicted?
I think in all maybe 10. I think
Okay.
10 of us,
And
at least close to
IU?
10 of us right there. Jimmy Cook had IU 24-21. And Nick, who runs the digital department, our online stuff, 27-26 IU. Kevin Bowen, superfan, had superfan for Notre Dame, had Notre Dame winning 27-20. Jake, Notre Dame winning 29-24. I had him 24-20. Swebo, 30-16. Brendan King, who works with us too, 34-14 Notre Dame. Eddie Garrison, 31-30 Notre Dame. Mark Dykton, the morning show producer, 30-20 Notre Dame. James had the Fighting Irish, 27-24. So, yeah, we got a number of folks, except for two, going with Notre Dame over IU. So, I don't want to see that happen. I want to see IU punch the ticket and move further. I just think it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to do that on the road. I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, hell, it's going to be difficult. And I'm not one that will sit here and tell you, you look back on this fondly. As an IU fan, you will, but I don't look at this as, you've already won and playing with house money. I look at this like you got this opportunity, and hell, you don't know when this opportunity is ever going to happen again, so take advantage of it while you're here. And see, that's the type of stuff that Kurt Cignetti's been so damn good at this season.
He's like, as historic as this season is, he's like, I don't want a participation trophy. And that's the thing. I think there's it doesn't erase what we've had if they lose this, but I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, but again, you look back on it, and it's two different things. Most people say, well, you go into this and you think you've already made it just because you look back in the past, and this team has not accomplished anything in years. Certainly, it's been the doormat of the Big Ten, if not college football. But to me, you get here, and it's almost like it's more magnified that you accomplish something when you get here.
Yeah,
it's like Notre Dame. Notre Dame's the one to me that plays with house money, because while if they lose, everybody's all over them. But Notre Dame's the one that logically and more than likely easily will get back.
Right.
They're the ones that are expected to get back. Now, you hope that that's IU's situation moving forward, but, I mean, hell, who knows coming out of the Big Ten. So, I mean, Notre Dame to me is the one where you call it grave you're playing with house money with them later on tonight. And you got contrasting styles. I mean, Notre Dame likes to run the football, runs the football really well. I think one thing that people look at that they suggest that maybe IU doesn't do well, and I've never really gotten that, is they run the football well. And, starting with Justice Ellison, who we had on the show one time this year, we have a number of IU players on. They're able to run the football well. And, of the two quarterbacks, between Warwick and Leonard, I think they got the best quarterback. And normally we know this in any level of football, if you have the best quarterback, you have a really good opportunity, no matter the situation, to win the game. So that's kind of where I start with it.
Yeah, make predictions, but it's like as we found out this season, you don't know what's going to happen. This is anybody's game tonight.
I like that breakdown. Anybody's game tonight, says Glaros right there.
Yeah,
with
there's my professional opinion for what it's worth. But yeah, I mean, gosh, it's just wild to look back, and it's going to be good.
Got more opinions for you, 239-1070. Hopefully Don Fisher coming up in just a bit. So I'm hoping
Where's
so.
Don?
I don't want to cut in on his gig here because I know he's preparing for things. Hey, James, who we got up here next? Anybody on hold?
We got Corky on the line.
Corky's at 239-1070. Hello, Corky.
How you doing, JMV?
Corky, great. Go ahead, bud.
So what I was wanting to talk to you about is I keep hearing why everybody wants to get rid of Ballard. I don't think Ballard's the problem. I think the problem has to go all the way up to the top with Irsay, with the idea that we hire these coaches. Irsay is the one that signs off on which coaches we sign off. And we've missed on 4 quarterbacks in a row, 4 major quarterbacks since Luck left us. And I don't understand. I mean, the teams that have been put out there by Ballard, they're better than mediocre all around. But with no quarterback play, that's what we've seen. We've seen nothing but mediocrity from the Colts.
No, Chris Ballard, as I have described him, is the maestro of mediocrity. And that's where they are. I mean, he's the guy that has brought this team through now his 8th season to where they are right now. I would tell you this. While Jim has been the issue, too. I mean, decision-making and all that has not been great. Going back to the clown show that was 2022, he is staying out of it right now. The other aspect of it is you're not going to be able to change the owner. I mean, he's going to always be a part of that. What you do is you hire people and you hope they put something together good enough that is the reason behind you having so much confidence in what they do. Honestly, Corky, it is a Ballard problem. It's a Ballard problem, and this season it at times has been a Steichen problem. And it oftentimes has been a Richardson problem. Just like I said about the 2 quarterbacks playing tonight with IU and Notre Dame, I mean, look at the quarterback situation here. They still, even with the 2-game benching, they're searching for, any sort of quarterback continuity, and they've just been unable to find it. You get into quarterback play whatsoever, you would think the coaching decisions are made better, the play on the field transitions to being better, and then you look better all the way around. But that's just what we've known. The one strong suit for this program over the last 8 years, this team last 8 years, the one consistency they've had is their level of mediocrity. And they're just hitting that note again this year with what they have in here. And while I would agree, I think the whole system needs an overhaul right now, and I have my doubts whether or not it's going to be overhauled. That's just the rut in which they're stuck in right now, mediocrity. And, the guy that is bringing in the players, it starts with him. The guy coaching the players, it's with him. The guy that's out there playing quarterback, it's with him. So that's their issue, and until further notice, that's who they are.
Yeah, but the hard part is, are you still there? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm here.
The hard part is the team is better. It's better than mediocre. They have no quarterback play of any significance since they brought in the guy from the Chargers. Everybody else has been terrible. And then,
no, there's no question about that. Yeah.
And Richardson is nothing more.
Minshew wasn't terrible, but he was a backup quarterback. No, they need. I said this after that loss in Denver. I said this on Monday, is they need an overhaul. And I know everybody still, I had to argue about this last night on social media regarding Anthony Richardson. Nobody wants him to work more than me. But there's no way in the world you're going to get me to say, yeah, you know what, that is your future right there. That's going to work. There's no way I'll say that to you right now. And I'm sure he's going to get next year to prove himself again. I think they're all going to get next year to prove themselves again. But what you're going to end up doing, you're going to run away a lot of fans here that think, you know what, I'm sick and tired of coming back to the same old situation right here. So I would be ready for them to make more than just a subtle change. However, I think they're going to win their final three, and I don't think they're going to.
Well,
JMV, there was a time.
Richardson's way more like he's more like Love. He needed to sit 2-3 years. He's young. He needs to learn how to be a pro. The reason why he lost the locker room and got benched earlier, it wasn't about calling a timeout and saying he was tired. It had everything to do with him not coming and showing up and being the first guy. It was all that, but it was especially he was the last one there and the first one to leave. That was one of the issues right there, and he had to learn. Absolutely.
And I don't know why you can't learn that a year ago when you sat out most of the year, but you have to learn that. And evidently that wasn't learned until he got benched. Honestly, though, and Corky, thank you for the call. The whole reason that they felt compelled to shut him down and bench him mid-season for those 2 games, it was what we just had talked about and what I told you back then. But it was also a matter of convenience because at that moment they thought Joe Flacco gave them the better chance to win. The better chance to win those games, to not find themselves, Gina, in the situation they're in right now, well on the outside looking in of the postseason.
Yeah.
They thought at that moment of the season that Flacco gave them the better chance to win, and it was really convenient because their quarterback, their 22-year-old, wasn't doing things the way you were supposed to do it. So what they could do is take care of a couple of things. You'll bench him, but at the same time, you believe that Flacco gives you the better chance to win. And in fact, including you, I think a lot of people thought that Flacco gave them the better chance to win. And in those 2 games, those 2 performances, he simply did not. So you just go back and you live with Richardson. But they're at a bad spot right now because they're nothing but mediocre. And they're going to have to, more than likely, do this thing all over again next year to find out what I think a lot of people like me already believe they know.
And there was a time, JMV, where you said, I don't think AR is going to get a chance to redeem himself.
I thought it was done and
year.
done, yeah.
So what makes you think that he will?
Because to me, next year, you might as well just, if you're going to have him around, you might as well play him. Unless there's another option. Part of it is option. Like I don't think they would think about cutting him loose or doing anything else with him right now because there's nobody on the heels that you really want to bring in coming out of college. So you got him here. He's here. You might as well keep him and see what you're going to have. I think he's going to play quarterback next year. I thought at the moment in the midseason that once you pull the plug on him, that they made that snap judgment that he was not going to be it. And all that was going on the interior, all that was going on in what we watched and how he played, how he was not proving himself, how the numbers were awful, that was just a decision that we're making for the entirety of the existence. I thought that was going to be done for him. And he comes back because Flacco was so bad. And listen, if Flacco was decent at all in those 2 games, He'd still be playing.
Exactly.
He'd still be playing.
Agreed.
If the other thing is, you look back 2 years ago in 2022, I've always said this. If they lose a game where they led by 30-plus points at the half in Minnesota, or if they don't lose to the Commanders with Terry McLaurin getting behind Stephon Gilmore in that game at Lucas Oil Stadium a couple of years ago to the Commanders here on that long pass play for a touchdown, if they don't lose those 2 games, or if, for example, Jeff Saturday gets just 2 wins, he's still the coach right now. So it's interesting how things dynamically will change just because of the wins and the losses. But no, Flacco would definitely still be the quarterback right now if there was anything at all you could take away for those performances. And they weren't. George is at 239-1070. George, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, JMV. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Love it, George. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, I just want to say that I'm really tired of everybody just panning tonight's game to Notre Dame. I mean, they lost to Northern Illinois. I don't see their strength of schedule any better than IU. And I think we're much more hungry. And I think that Coach Chick's going to lead us. We're going to win this game tonight.
Let me tell you this, George. Stick right with me here. I think, and I went over us and our picks today. You see everybody, nearly everybody, has this as a close game. So I think that there was a lot of juggling going on because of what you say is accurate. There's not a great deal of over-the-top trust in Notre Dame being able to hold serve at home just because they're at home, just because they've been there and done that in big games like this, and this is the first time for IU. I think just by everybody being reasonable in viewing this game as being close, I think that tells you exactly what you just described, how IU can hang, how IU can win. And that's why, George, I said this earlier, to me, the game-changing moment would be if IU is able to translate a defensive play into a score, into points. If they're able to do that on the road, I think that's the difference between them getting a win and maybe not here. I just think you make a play like that, then all of a sudden the tide turns. You take away that home field, I think, at that point in time, put a little bit of doubt in Notre Dame and their offensive mind, put a little bit of doubt in the Irish fans regarding their quarterback, Riley Leonard, who they rebuilt that confidence with this season, and then put it in the hands of a kicker and in the arm of Leonard, and not so much being able to eat clock and running the football against this IU defense. So, man, a takeaway and a score on defense would be absolutely what the doctor ordered. And then I think your situation does occur in South Bend, if that can happen with this IU defense tonight.
Well, and I think that the difference between the team tonight and the team that played in Columbus is they're not going to be nervous tonight. You know, they were nervous in Columbus. I think Notre Dame's going to be nervous if they don't perform.
George, thank you for the call. I appreciate that. I think
and that was the word that I was trying to. He
nervous?
said that better than I said earlier.
You were trying to say nervous?
No, hungry.
Hungry.
That's what Hoosiers have.
Well, there's no doubt they have a hunger, but I think you also have to survive some early moments too.
Sure.
I mean, because this is a foreign territory for them. And listen, I know it's the first time for Notre Dame being in this situation, too, a 12-team playoff, doing this at home in December. It's going to bet, they are at home. So there is certainly a sense of been there and done that for them that IU will not have. But, maybe, as we like to describe, what do they say? They say, James, young, dumb, and full of what? Can I say that on the air? No, I don't think I can. Can I say that, Carl?
No.
Can you say that in California? So, yeah, that, to me, also could play a role for IU, just simply not being there before. And, not, being in the moment, not being in front of their home crowd, having everybody root against them. I mean, you just don't know how the reaction's going to be. And those first minutes of this game, guys, IU surviving it. And, again, defensively, trying to get a turnover out of this, trying to work it from that angle, maybe even getting a defensive score. Man, oh, man, then you put things into play with what George is talking about. That's Gina. She is the princess of ice cream. I am John, who just got scolded by Carl for about ready to say something that he didn't even end up saying on this show. This Bud Light Blue Friday at Coach's Tavern downtown. Thank you guys for joining us. We're coming back with you. Hopefully Don Fisher can join before 6. Remember, we got Colts Happy Hour coming up at the top of the hour. I don't want you to go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
with JMV.
I don't know what the hell's in there. It's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Ah, man, I don't know if Don's going to make it here in time or not. We shall see. Gina is here, though.
Yes.
Hi, Gina. I'm John. Thank you for joining us. Coaches Downtown. We are going to watch the game here. At least I may watch the game here. I don't know where I'm going to watch it in its entirety. Maybe somewhere around here. But this is a great place to do it. We talked to Tommy S. a little bit earlier about that. Tony East about this game tonight with IU and Notre Dame. Tony East about the Pacers last night. Pacers looked for the first time this season from start to finish like we expected them to look. Hopefully that's a good sign. Because it wasn't a good sign so far this year. It was a bad sign.
No, it's been not very pretty.
Many Joe Childers of the 13 Central Indiana Express Pro Tire and Auto locations is right there. Jojo, good to see you, buddy. Love me some Joe Childers right there. Nah, man, last night was the first time we'd seen them. They had multi-double-figure scores. Ball was moving, not sticking. Gave a little bit of defense. They got help because Devin Booker left the game in the second half. But, man, all in all, against with Kevin Durant going for 37. Good win for the Pacers last night, Glaros. I'm assuming you were not up watching it.
I was not.
Because you go to bed like somebody's grandma at 8 o'clock, don't you?
No, not these
When do you
days.
Do you go to MCL? You go to MCL and then you're in bed by 7:30?
These days I've been such a night owl, but I was not watching.
A night owl. Man, I'm sure you're a night owl. Hey, I got something for you baseball fans in just a second. Sit tight for that. John's at 239-1070 right now. Hey, John, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, JMV, this is John Winger of the U.S. Army, Sergeant Hulkus Battalion. And
yes,
I just
are you?
wanted to-
Sergeant Hulko was the big toe, remember? Yes.
You just stole my thunder. I just wanted to say a team without leaders is like a foot without a big toe. And the Colts don't have any toes. They don't have any big toes. So,
yeah.
And I love your Friday show because I know you're sitting next to the Dairy Queen. But, hey.
Wow. Hey, all right.
She's going to take offense to that, John.
Time to hang up. Sorry, John.
No, you can keep it. But
just kidding.
Handles. She's Handles and not Dairy Queen. She may be offended by that.
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry. I'm going to stop by Handles. I'm going to stop by Handles on 135 and get me an ice cream. Hey.
You got it, buddy. John Winger, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for all you have done for us.
Yeah. Hey, tonight's game, IU, they're not supposed to be there. So they're playing with house money.
Yeah.
So all the pressure,
yeah, go ahead.
All the pressure's on Notre Dame. And if they can stop Notre Dame's run game, Riley Leonard is very erratic in the air. So all the pressure is on Notre Dame to win.
No, I said that earlier, too, and John, thank you for the call. I happen to think that Notre Dame plays with house money because Notre Dame, logically, is going to be the team that consistently gets back. I mean, hopefully IU gets back again, but, I mean, hell, nobody's going to hold their breath on that. So you're here right now, and to me, that's not playing with house money. You may never get back next year or any time in the distant future. So you want to make it happen and make it happen right now. So I think that's better off for IU. And as you mentioned, I think rightly so, John, Riley Leonard is a guy that you want to put in situations where we have seen him in the past be mistake-prone. That's what IU's defense could do. You don't want to see Notre Dame – hey, good to see you, Jer. Right back at you, man. You don't want to see Notre Dame sit back, run the football as they normally do, move down the field, move the chains – run the clock, score. That, to me, would be a Notre Dame dominant performance. You don't want that. You want to be able to put them in situations that's inconvenient for them, and that is relying on Riley Leonard to throw the football. See, that's, to me, where IU has an advantage. You feel comfortable in Curtis Rourke throwing the football. You want those. You'll live for those situations. I also think that IU's offense from a running game situation is a lot better than what people give it credit to be right now. So defensively, if you're able to put them, again, in uncomfortable situations with their quarterback, maybe you can make something happen. then the tables will turn right there. John, thank you. I know Gina agrees with me right there. Jim, good to see you, brother. Thank you. Jim Zink, shout out. You got it, buddy. Good to see you. Zinks brings us to you from Coach's Tavern downtown. No, John, there's a lot I agree with there. I just happen to think that Notre Dame's the team that would be, you know what, we can be back next year probably. We're Notre Dame. You know, IU's got this time right now to take advantage of it. Hopefully now this is a new trend where they're a part of it, but, you know, you're not going to count on it, and Notre Dame's that historic program. JMV, why is the game going to be tough for IU? Number 1 D in the country against the run. Notre Dame's strength of schedule is crap. They got beat by a Division II school. Let me tell you this, Sean. Everybody else, if they're going to make an argument, would say the same damn thing about IU regarding the strength of schedule. I think they have an even strength of schedule to me. A lot of that's going to be proven later on tonight. Plus, my God, bro, he's a kid. We all knew he was 3 to 4 year project. Even decent quarterback in the league has a tight end, but Anthony Richardson, listen, here's the thing about Richardson. I want him to work, but you have to ask me, and I have to have an answer right now for you. Do I think that he's a long-term quarterback consistently counted upon in the NFL? Who thinks that right now? I'm not going with a pipe dream. Hell, I hope you're right. I hope he gets next year, and I hope everybody's just ready, willing, and able to shove it up my rear. But until further notice, he doesn't look anything like it. Do I love the way that he shakes off would-be tacklers for sacks? I do. Does he run the football? Well, when he gets the opportunity, yes. Do I wish he had tight ends that were decent? Yes. Do I wish he had better weapons that were decent? Yes. Does that mean he's going to hit these guys in stride anywhere near them and be a better quarterback? No, it doesn't. I'm just going by what we've seen so far. You tell me, you guys, if you were asked right now, this is the quarterback for the long-term future, would you buy it? All I'm telling you is you guys ask me this stuff, and I have to answer you right now, and I'm telling you I'm not. There's a reason more than just him not handling the position the way it should be handled in the midseason as to why, as I told you earlier, they made that benching. So you're asking me, and I give you the answer right now. We've been around hope around here for such a long damn time. Hope is fleeting. You got to get something stinking right. You are caught right now on the treadmill of mediocrity, and it's going to drive you nuts. It's driven you nuts, and we've been driven nuts. Get back to that in a second. On the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, here he is. I know he's not got a lot of time with us. We thank him for joining us. Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers, live from South Bend. Hello, Don. How are you?
Good, John. How about yourself?
Have you ever prepared for a football game the way you're preparing for this one, this level of excitement for 8 o'clock to get here?
John, I'm a creature of habit. I prepare for everyone. I'm the same way. So, yeah, I've prepared for a lot of games like this. I don't think we've had quite the amount of excitement, however, for a lot of games that I've prepared for in the past. But this one is really special in that regard.
Don, I double back to you. This summer, you know, along with Kurt Signetti, he was the first one that said, hey, you know, you can count on us winning games. We're going to be good. You know, no more slap rock attitude about this football program. And then you told me in the summertime that this is going to be different. The coach is different, and the players are going to be different because the way that he's coaching them up. Where do you start with him to motivate, to coach this group to a place where really nobody but he and or they thought they were going to be right now, going into tonight?
Well, I think, John, with Kurt Signetti, it all starts with the players that he recruits. And the first thing that he looks for is character. He wants guys that have high character values, that are guys that attend classes, do what they're supposed to do. They aren't skipping class and all those kinds of things. And that's the first thing he looks for. The second thing he looked for, especially in the transfer portal, was guys who came in here that had a background as players, not just guys that came off the bench or were disgruntled where they were before because they weren't playing time. He wanted guys that had some experience. And so that's the second thing he looked for. And then from that perspective alone, he just looks for a guy that's played and proven that he has the capability of producing. And I think all of those things are involved there. But I think the biggest aspect from Kurt's perspective is this kid's got to be a character guy first.
Hey, Don, where exactly are you right now in South Bend, and what's the atmosphere like? And talk to us about the fan balance between Notre Dame and Hoosiers up there.
I'm literally at the stadium. I have been in the press box here for about the last hour now. I've done a couple of television interviews, and
sure.
without question, I think it's so exciting just to be here, to be a part of this, to be a part of the college football playoff, and then the knowledge that the entire country that is football interested will be watching this football game tonight.
Yeah.
I think that just ramps up the nerves and the excitement and all those kinds of things, especially from my perspective, because I've been doing this a long time, and I don't really get that major league uptight about a football game, but I can honestly tell you I'm a little uptight tonight.
So is Buck Sewell up there? Is he practicing his one-liners? Because I'm going to be listening for him later on tonight.
He's coming in with the team. I came over on a different bus today because I wanted to get here earlier. So he'll be here shortly. He's not here yet, or at least he's not here in the press box where we're located right now. And by the way, incidentally, I hope Indiana is taking a look at this press box tonight. And if they ever get in the mood to decide to revamp the Indiana press box at Memorial Stadium, this is what they ought to model it after because it's spectacular.
Man, just don't model the place after South Bend, okay? I like Bloomington the way that it is.
No, I didn't say anything else except the press box, John.
No, I got to add that. Hey, yeah, I'm not the biggest Notre Dame fan around, so yeah, I'm not. No. I've been calling the University of.
I can tell you this, John. We walked through Jeff Kaag and I and some of the people that work with him. We walked through this parking lot today up here in South Bend. I can't tell you how many Indiana fans I saw in the parking lot tailgating, getting ready for this football game tonight. If they all get in here, we're going to see about half the crowd being almost red because it's unbelievable how many Indiana fans have made this trip up here. Some of them probably just came up to be tailgating in the parking lot, but I'll tell you what, if they all get in here, they paid a lot of money.
A lot of money with voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher. A final thing before I let you go, 7 p.m. right here on The Fan, coming up after Colts happy hour. Don, I think, to me, you make Riley Leonard throw it, right? Defensively, you hope that they're able to make him throw it, and Notre Dame's not able to maintain and move the sticks on the run, and that's where you find a mistake. And I think if IU can score something, put something together defensively in the category of turnover, big play mentality on the defensive side, man, that's going to make everybody feel good.
I think you're right, John. I think the biggest key in this ball game tonight for Indiana is to not make mistakes. If they make the kinds of mistakes or anything close to what they did in that Ohio State ball game, it's not going to play well for them. But if they don't make a lot of mistakes tonight, John, this is going to be a heck of a football game. And I think Riley Leonard is the key guy for them, but I don't know. I just know what his statistics are, and his statistics tell you that he can throw the football pretty effectively. But, of course, I think the biggest challenge is making sure that he doesn't beat you with his legs because he's got over 600 yards in rushing this year. So when you look at what Riley Leonard brings to the table, he can do both. But I agree with you. I think you got to make him throw the football.
Man, go to it right there. Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers. 7 o'clock is the pregame coverage, and 8 o'clock is the kick on the first ever top 12 college football playoff. And holy crap, I use a part of this in a standalone tonight at Notre Dame. Don, you got to be kidding me. Am I drunk? I know I'm drunk, but not. Am I that drunk?
No, you're not that drunk, John. It's actually happening, boy.
That is awesome. Can't wait to listen, buddy. You guys have a great broadcast, and we'll catch you when you get back.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You got it. Don Fisher, voice of the Hoosiers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Gina, sit tight. We'll come back. Quick break. We'll come back. Thank you, James, for getting Don on there. Voice of the Hoosiers. And again, the game you can hear right here. Do not go anywhere. Coach's Tavern, Bud Light Blue Friday. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Special message for all the kids watching at home.
Stay out of trouble. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back, Coaches Tavern. Thank you for joining us. Dre Jameson, I mentioned this baseball connection of the Arizona Diamondbacks from Greenfield Central has a baseball camp that's going to go down Monday. Greenfield Central Fieldhouse, that is Monday, 1st through 4th grade, 2 until 4 in the afternoon, 5th and 6th graders, 4 until 6. And you can check that out. I'm assuming, here's what we'll do here. If you have any questions, do I give this number out here, James, that you gave me?
I believe so.
In this note? All right, for Mitch Gibson, who's the varsity coach over there at Greenfield Central, 317-442-3318. If you have interest over there in checking that out. Good folks over at Greenfield Central. Dre is fantastic in Major League Baseball with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And again, that's coming up on Monday, 317-442-3318. If you want to call about that baseball camp over there, the Princess of Ice Cream. You going to hang with me or are you getting ready to take off?
Oh, I'm going to hang for a little while.
You're going to hang for a little while?
Yeah.
All right.
Kick off 2 hours away.
Yeah. All right. So we have Toto tickets to give away. Christopher Cross and Men at Work. August the 6th.
Where's that?
Ruoff Music Center. What do you think?
Are we going?
You want to go?
Are you inviting me?
You're invited.
Okay.
You're going to mess around and not show up and get on Agnes Island. Hey, by the way, you know Scott Agnes was on Wednesday with Greg Rakestraw.
Not with you?
No, not with me. With Greg. Oh. James, was Agnes on Wednesday?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so see, it's kind of like he was on the show. You got him on the show. You and Lindsay got him on the show. Just my ass wasn't there for it.
He's great. He's great, isn't he? You guys will get along if you ever have him on.
Do I have to wear a white belt?
No. That's the thing. That's yesterday's news. We don't do that anymore.
I'm just joking. Gina's going to hang for a little bit, Coach's Tavern, Bud Light Blue Friday. You guys have been great today. I've got Colts Happy Hour on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Still reason to hang. Gina returns. I'm John. Carl's here, too. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. Hell of a Friday, everybody.